If you see
Welcome one, welcome all to the chaos we have here today at the 1 year-ish celebration of Beard of Darkness book reviews. And wow, if I would have been told that I would have had the amazing guests that I have at this moment when I started my channel, I'd have told you to get out of here because my expectations would have been sad. I'm so happy everybody's here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to introduce I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, but I'm going to call them by their first names and then allow them to continue on. Because as you can tell, there's not a format going on here. I invited anybody and everybody that I wanted here. And also, I did get a notice. If you're trying to get in, I did not know until now. If there are 10 people like backstage or on, they will not allow anymore to come on. So stick around. If somebody has to leave, you'll come in. I don't know who this person is, but it did notify me. So first, let's start introducing ourselves. I'm Matt, the host. We're going to go straight up to you, Corey. You're the man now. What's going on, Corey? Who are you and what do you do, brother?
I am me. I am Corey Ratliff. I'm a fantasy author of the Elmerian Chronicles and a few others, but mainly that is what most people know me for now. And hugely thanks to you, Matt, for having me on early on in this journey.
Didn't you just have something drop?
Yep.
What was it?
It was the prequel novella to Elmerian Chronicles. It was Shadows of a Lost Hollow. Came out Thursday.
Hell yeah, dude. We can't leave that. I mean, come on, that has to be right there in the introduction. Thank you, dude. I'm so happy you're here. And it's just one of those things that's like a full circle type feel, like having you on as one of the very first people. And I think we have the same barber too, right?
Well, you see, I started let mine come back though.
You're a traitor. You're a traitor.
I got that widow's peak going on, but
it's all good.
I got to grow it out for.
It's called a
Halloween next year.
All right, we're gonna go to the corner. My man, been here since like day -2. Timothy.
Yeah, thanks for having me. My name is Timothy Wolf. You probably best know me from The Legacy of Bolum, which is these. But more recently, my novella, The Whisper That Replaced God, has been killing it, which is nice. And want to thank Beard because I don't usually do stuff like this, but he nudged me to be on the show, and it really helped me kind of break out of my shell a bit. So it's been a good run.
I love it. We got a lot of good economics talk in there too. I'll never forget.
Oh yeah.
We're both an economic weirdos, right?
Absolutely.
I love it. So now we'll go to my man. What's going on? I'm gonna come out and just tell everybody your name. What's going on, Ed?
Oh, I'm doing great. So E.L. Montague, author of a number of series, but here I'll tell you the one on the 15th of November. The first book in the New World series will come out. So Seawood Secrets on 11/15. But I mostly came to hang out with you guys. Matt's a great guy. I've been watching him since day one, so good fun to be here to celebrate. What is it, 16 months?
It's crazy too. Like I'm trying to pull all the books that I have. Like I have, if you've published a book and you're on this screen right now, I have your books. But see me, I don't plan ahead, and I'm just now thinking of grabbing them. But here we go, Tim. And then the next one. Okay, well, I'll let her talk about it. Molly, you're next.
Hi, I'm Molly McCobb. I am the author of Dark Bloom, released 2 months ago. Horror, post-apocalyptic.
My wife loved it, dude. And my wife is very hard to please when it comes to books especially. And she's probably going to kick me for this afterwards, but she won't stop talking about it, Molly. It's like, holy shit, there's like something about whether we're in the car or we're talking about whatever. Oh, that reminds me of Dark Bloom. So you left your imprint.
I love that. She's so sweet.
The one, there's so many. Everybody here doesn't need an introduction, but especially right there. I'm grabbing your books right now. So you begin, Janny.
Well, foremost a reader and a writer and an illustrator, but I'm here for Beard of Darkness tonight, and here's my nerd hat.
Nice.
Look at these
So
beautiful books.
I really appreciate what you booktubers do for the community. I think you're fantastic people, and I just love to read books. So all of you authors here, if I haven't discovered you yet, I will.
That's awesome.
Janny, I have to ask you, I know some crazy stuff. A couple things. My mom is in Ohio today. Well, she's been here for a little less than a week, and she's from Ocala, Florida, and which is the equine center of the world, right? I'm sure you've heard of it, considering I know you're a horse person. How is life where you're at right now, considering the crap that you guys just went through?
Well, we got off lightly. I don't live on the coast. Those guys really got trashed.
Oh,
But we got hit by a Category 4 Hurricane Ian, 2 years ago, and it stripped the place, knocked down a lot of trees. We took a hard hit on that one. Our property came through okay, but we stepped out the next morning after Milton, and I said, "Writer, you have betrayed me," because it looked like a repeat of Ian. We had fences down, we had limbs all over the place, but our house was untouched. We lost none of our grand oaks, unlike some of our neighbors. So narrow misses from some tornadoes in that one. Please, God, can we get a handle on this climate change, because it's making life rather tough for many people, and my heart goes out to all the ones who lost their homes. It's tragic.
100. I'm so glad that you said that, because I think anybody that's dealing with such a catastrophe deserves us talking about it. So it's incredible. It's one of those things. In living in Ohio, I'm not that well familiar of what they're going through, other than like a power loss. I can't imagine flooding, your house being gone. I watched one video
out on the barrier islands. There were houses piled on top of each other. The storm surge
that's tragic.
Took them out. Yeah, and this state depends on tourism. So pretty much from the Panhandle all the way down to Naples, it got hammered.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what's ahead. There's a lot of cleanup to be done. The people are resilient, but
resilience. I would say that's a Florida thing.
I would like to see them make the Bowery Islands into a park and just not build again.
Wow. Okay.
I wish. I
that.
mean, if that would be the correct thing to do to mitigate the problem.
There's things that, like I was just saying, like to go. I only hear on the news, of course, and that I don't understand about the situation, what goes into cleaning all that up. All I know is that I pray and wish and hope, and all is better for anyone suffering, because suffering is going on. So I hope that anyone suffering, that eases up and it gets eliminated. The next person on the list was a channel that I'm like binging before I even make pull the trigger on making my own booktube channel. And I'm so glad she's here, because she's one of the realest out there, and that's a real compliment, because there's many that I could probably say, I don't know, I don't even know what I mean by that, but I feel like she does. You're a real one, Tori.
Well, thanks, Matt. I don't know how to follow that introduction. I'm Tori from the channel Tori Talks 2, because Tori Talks 1 was already taken. I am the author of the dark paranormal novel Phased, and more recently the Bloodstones, which is the first in my trilogy, The Legends of the Bruhai.
I found it.
I'm fantasy obsessed since I was a little kid, building Lego villages in my basement.
Dude.
That's awesome.
Talk about there's people who I read, especially somebody like you, Tori, that I don't necessarily know what to expect, just because I knew you as a booktuber, right? First, I didn't learn about Phased, and especially the Bloodstones until not recently, but it took a little while for me to know that about you. I knew you as a booktuber first, and to dive in, my expectations were blown away. Your character writing is incredible. I remember watching Matt on Books over in the UK, and I believe it was his favorite read last year, and so deserved. So I love
Thank
what you
you.
do in this community, and I just hope you continue it.
Thank you.
Of course. Brian, so you picked the time to come in like you were the 11th one, my friend, but I want to say it equally means just as much that you were gonna be here. So thank you so much, and I'm glad you're here in the chat. And John, I totally agree. Look at all these wonderful people. I feel very, very overwhelmed. Next, my man, the 6'10" guy that I'd have to look up to at 6'5". I don't find many people I have to look up to, but this gentleman I would. Sledge himself, Nick Horvath. What's going on, my brother?
What's up, brother? Yeah, you know me. Hanging out here to support. I'm just most definitely your number one biggest fan, literally. So I'm just here to support your year, man. What an awesome year you've had. And you know, you just
There might be some fat people out there, so just hold your horses, Nick.
flawless, I'll say. Flawless, man.
That's fair. That's fair.
Hey, well, skull, like the shirt says.
Oh, brother.
Love it, dude. I love your energy, man. It brings anytime I see like a video on TikTok that just reminds me of that energy you bring to this community, I tag you in it because it's just metal, right?
That's
and
it,
we
man.
get along right on that wavelength, brother.
From
so
day
so glad
one, we've been, right on that same vibration.
That's it. And you're a defensive basketball player, and those type of guys used to really make me mad because I would get swatted daily, dude. Swatted, dog, into the crowd. That's disrespectful.
My daughter.
Well, man, I'm so glad you're here. The next gentleman knows how I feel about his writing because I have talked about it. I've had a video in the process. I have a pretty background now, so it's going to get finished within the next week. But I have a video coming out why people should be reading his Trials of Sedaine series. It's just so good. It's Joe Abercrombie with some George R. R. Martin had a baby. There it is. What's going on, John?
I'm John Palladino, author of The Trials of Ashbound and Buzzard's Bowl, and just got the proof copy for my short story collection, although I need to, unfortunately, order new ones because the back came out super dark. You can't actually see anything, which is really unfortunate because anyone who's rushed proofs on Ingram Spark will know that it costs like $50 or more to order just a hardcover and a paperback.
Wow.
And actually, I think that with the rush shipping, it was more like $65. But yeah, it really sucks. But there's another flaw with the Ingram Spark that I'm sure some of my fellow authors here know. If you don't pay for rushed printing and shipping, it'll take at least a month to get a hardcover copy. So
sometimes you pay for rush and it still takes a month.
Yeah. But
these are things I learned through the grapevine, like right now, because not being an author, and not that I love to hear the crap that's going on that you're dealing with, but it's somewhat like a window into what I'm gonna have to hopefully deal with someday. That sounds weird, but it's true. And also, it kind of lets your readers in and your reviewers into what the reality of being a self-pub author is, the companies you deal with, and the type of cost that comes with that. And as you guys well know, that's very much those gold nuggets that I love to be a part of my channel, because I think learning will forever be what I'm after, whether it's about publishing, writing, prose, reviewing, written reviews. It doesn't matter. I always like people to share that intimate kind of personal experience you're having with whatever you're dealing with as an author. So as crappy as that can be, John, I feel for you, but at the same time, thank you for talking about it.
Well, there's the alternative. You can do Amazon, but I hear it's better in terms of getting it quicker. But then you get for example, this is an author copy, but on Amazon, you get that strip that says not for resale. And I just personally hate that, especially because I send the copies I order before it's out to reviewers and stuff, and I don't really want to send. I mean, I know a lot of people do, and it's actually considered normal, but I have the option not to, so I prefer not to. It's just a personal preference.
Personal
thing,
thing.
really.
Can I tell you something, John? I think the first, and it's actually right here, so I'm going to grab it. So I'm going to disappear for a second.
Quick.
The very first
Let's talk
book
about
I
him behind his back.
The very first book I ever got with that stripe on it, right? Dude, I was on top of the world. Okay. I had reached out to who I'm going to tell you, he's a bearded brother of mine. We do a podcast together, David T. List. And he's like, oh, that's crazy. You want to read my book because I'm ordering those author proofs. I'll just go into Amazon and I'll send you an author proof, this and that. Turns out I got his author proof before he even saw it. Right. So I had to send him pictures of his own book, dude. So I felt super special. Violence and Vigilance. But I enjoyed that. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm in the secret society, guys, you know? So I do have to say there's a little bit of a fun aspect to it, but I totally understand why, as an author, you want to have something official sent out. This is what it's going to be like, or close to it. So I do get that. This next gentleman was, I think, my second interview ever, and he was my very first sci-fi read ever. And
I was on your channel and you were just Stubble of Darkness. You weren't a full
I was
kid
just
yet.
Stubble of Darkness at that point.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Yeah. And I was reading Janie Wirtz's books before you were born. So
I love that.
We
so
want
much.
some more. And I remember reading the Daughter of Empire series, and I wasn't really a fan of Rift War, but I'm like, these are so good. So we know how that happened.
Well, Rohan kicked me right in the rear end because I
Yeah.
wasn't ready for the type of I wasn't ready for the type of mind expanding prose that I got in that book.
I wouldn't go that far. Anyway, thank you very much. So I'm Joe Byrne. I'm the author of the Hybrid Helix, of which there are now 5 out, and another standalone that's loosely related but not really. And I'm working. Book 6 is being edited as we speak. So I am trucking along. And today I signed up for Worldcon next year. I got my ticket and booked my hotel. So I am super excited to hang out. Because at DragonCon I got to hang out with your David List. We were drinking together for like a couple days. He's a super guy, and those are a blast. So I'm really looking forward to Worldcon next year.
That's
my
Seattle,
news.
right?
That is Seattle, and that's in August. And so probably not going to do DragonCon next year because they're close together in time. But a lot of the authors are going to make a point of going to Worldcon more. So it's my chance to meet some new people. I'm very excited, super excited.
Yeah, I'm not jealous.
Come,
So,
it's still tickets available. It's not sold out yet.
If you would, real quick, because me and my wife are planning on going. That's going to be our very first convention is in Seattle, because we wanted to go to across the pond, but let's be realistic. That's very expensive, and with 4 children, it's very hard, so impossible almost. So we're looking forward to Seattle. I believe to sign up for the tickets, right, unless you're the average Joe like myself, you kind of have to sign up at Seattle Worldcon specifically.
Yeah, there's a website.
And you can just purchase the tickets there. But isn't it like a recurring, like a membership?
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to renew it, I don't think. I don't know. Remember I just got it today, right? You just plunk down the money for the membership and then money for I'm going to attend. They're 2 separate boxes. You click them, you give them your credit card, and they'll take your money. Okay. So they're very egalitarian about it. No, we're happy to take your money. Then they have a page with hotels with blocks of time, with blocks of discounted rooms. So you go through you go through the Worldcon website. They have the links to if you go through their link, when you get to the hotel, it's got the discounted rates. So I booked my 5 nights, and my wife's going to come, or 4 nights. And Wednesday through Sunday, and my wife is going to go and see Seattle, and I'm going to go and hang out with authors, and we might see each other in the middle of the night, and that's it.
Yeah,
well, so that's our plan. Yeah, oh yeah, I'm going to be busy doing stuff she wants no part of, because I'm like, honey, you want a ticket to the con? You can come to all the panels. She's like, that's okay, it's fine. Thanks anyway.
Oh, I
working.
love that though. But she's
Oh, yeah.
going to be that support system there for you.
Well, she wants, because I got the hotel. Might as well fly her out to Seattle so she can eat at all the restaurants. That's her plan. Yeah.
And
So-
another thing, like a WorldCon, I'm like, I had no idea what the hell FOMO was, by the way, until I joined this community. And now I feel it all the time, and I feel kind of hip saying it now too. I'm like, yeah, FOMO, and I'm like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
But I watched, Ryan Cahill. You got the guy from Wraithmark. You've got Matt Holland from
Bryce.
the Broken Binding, and they're all kind of just chilling out. And I'm just like, oh, to sit right there would be so cool.
Those
Like,
are good
'cause I have a
times.
lot of things I'd like to say to them. Just, kind of gushing things. I just want to gush in their ears and probably annoy the shit out of them.
I embarrassed the heck out of Ryan the first time I met him. I'm like, dude, you're like a hero to us indie authors. And he was like trying to be cool, but he was so embarrassed. And now I remind him of that every time I see him now. I'm like, Ryan, remember that time? He's like, I do, you little. Then he says a bad word that I'm not going to repeat on your show.
Hey, we're all adults here. You say what you want. Brian, Janny wins the coolest mysterious lighting award tonight. Yes, I agree. It's real. Janny's real, and I love it. I love every part of it. I'm going to go through a couple things here because I want to see what some comments are real quick. So I may be quiet for just a second, but don't get used to it because I'm loud. I've only read Corey's book so far. Oh, you better get in there, Mike. We've got Tori here. We've got Janny. We've got Nick. We've got John. We've got Joe. We've got Tim. We've got EL. We've got them all here. I think every single person hold on. Every single person here tonight. Sorry, Molly, your face was blocked for a second. I'm so sorry that it does that.
That's okay.
Ryan, what's going on, my friend? Congratulations. Thank you so much. It's been like a year and a half. I just put this off because I don't know. I had other things like scheduled. Rohan and Sledge need to get on that. Yeah, dude. Let's do a Rohan and Sledge. What a combination that would be, right? Like Sledge just takes a trip to outer space and they team up and kick some ass.
That's good.
Josh,
Goes back to Earth
man.
occasionally.
You're the beard. That's good.
I agree, Josh. John, so Josh says Trials of Ashmount is still one of the best grimdark books I've read. Keen to check out the short story collection. Yes. Here we go. Here's a question. I love that. Bell 2, Brian Bell. I have a question for Janny. How is The Gallant pronounced? The Gallant? The Gallant?
The Gallant.
Look at that. First try. Love it.
But,
Beard.
people pronounce it both ways, so I'm not going to come down too hard on them. I'll just kill them in my next novel.
There it is. The abilities of an author right there. And you might not even know it, but we're going to do it behind the scenes. I love that. No, I did not forget that. That's my wife trying to get on me. Dark Gloom. Matthew James, you forgot. That's my middle name. Everybody knows my middle name now. How dare her? I definitely did forget Dark Gloom. I already held it up and everything. You missed it.
He did.
All right. So I've made it through. I believe there's no questions. So I want to say doing this for a year and a half, there's a couple things I've taken away. Well, there's a lot more than a couple things, but the most prominent is community is so important. Hence, look at this screen, guys. Holy shit. It's very powerful. It can help you in times of, personally, dark times. We can reach out to people. And let's just talk marketing, stuff like that. We all kind of piggyback off of one another. And it's kind of like this unspoken thing. I don't know. Do you guys agree with me within that
What's
realm?
marketing?
Kind of unspoken respect we have for each other. Anybody go on.
I think there's like this cool symbiotic relationship between booktuber and author that it's like the one great place on social media where it's just all support for each other, right? We want to support people like you support people like us, and it just everything grows. It's just the positive vibes immaculate, man. It's cool.
And I think that's a very good point of view, not just because of what you said, but specifically, you're not a fantasy or sci-fi author, but you are within that circle of people who do exactly what you just said. So you reach out to thriller reviewers and other authors. So you have multiple circles in which this has become true for you.
Exactly. Yeah, it's awesome, man. It's been just a whirlwind year for me as well, but you're a big part of it, man. Just everything you do is just so cool. Just bringing that positive beard vibe to everything, man.
Oh, well, thank you, dude. I really appreciate it. And it's funny because when I started the channel, I was like, what am I going to do? Because I think everybody, and Tori, tell me if you agree, has their voice. Like there could be 1,000, 100,000 fantasy, sci-fi specific like booktubers, Instagram, book talk, whatever it is. But we all bring our original voice. What would your take on that be, Tori?
Yeah, I definitely think that's the case. I think what's cool about it is that you'll see so much overlap between all of our channels, and there's so many people that love to get a variety of perspectives on different books, and everybody, that's why, whenever somebody comes to me and says, I don't know, I should I start a booktube channel or not, I feel like there's so many people talking already, and I'm like, but nobody can say what you're going to say about it and bring the experiences that you've had in life to the reading community and talking about, all these different books that we all love so much. And there's literally something for everyone, which is super cool.
I think too, like the overlap thing, let's just say for you personally, when you interviewed, hold on, her book's right here. Fonda Lee, I couldn't think of her name.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't
She's
familiar
so
with
cool.
her work. I mean, I was familiar that she had these, the Greenbone saga out, but I didn't know her through her prose yet.
Mm.
And to kind of see you or hear you talk about why she was important to you and how much you loved her books, and then to have her, on for an interview, made me aware of it and made so many other people aware of that who may have been in the exact same spot as me. So I love that overlapping interest that kind of pushes us forwards, even through viewers. Like, I feel like a lot of viewers have that same aspect that I had, watching you interview her, talk about her books, or Joe's books, or John's book, whatever it may be. It kind of just follows through in a way. It always kind of brings us to their work in a unique way.
Well, and I'm sure you can relate to this too, Matt, having done a lot of interviews too. Every author interview I've ever done, whether it's somebody that's written a ton of books or it's their debut novel, I love listening to them talk about what their passion is, and like, their different writing processes and the different things that they get excited about. I come away from every single author interview, regardless of who it is, just really inspired and excited. I almost like, nobody talk to me, I need to go right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely get that. And there's so many aspects, and one Alex Luco is bringing up now that I like, and kind of, it wasn't a question I had ever really thought of, because I think I automatically assume that authors or writers, like, which I'm very much aspiring to be, are introverts. I'm not an introvert, so I'm anxious to ask this question. And great question, Alex. Are any of you extroverts? If so, how do you cope with how absolutely isolating writing can feel?
Cons and whiskey.
Well,
Cons and whiskey.
Well, somebody started writing before the internet existed. Writing can be a brutally solitary profession, so it certainly helps if you like being solitary. One of the things that I really love is reading can be a brutally solitary reaction. I went for years reading books with no one to speak to about it, and having this community bloom on the internet and all the wonderful people who are willing to share their experiences, both with books, with writing, with creating. It's opened up a whole world that didn't exist. It honestly didn't exist. It was a different era. So I'm grateful for it.
That's something that I feel like you and Raymond Feist and Tad Williams, people of that writing era, it must have changed so much. Because if I can't, how did you get the word out other than Well, I just don't know. I guess I'm such a internet infused person. I was born in 1990, so the internet
Because
always kind of exists.
the readers went to the bookstore and you went to the shelf and you looked at every book that came
That's
out
it.
that week and you looked at the back cover, and if it sounded cool, you buy Daughter of Empire and you take it home and you read it, because that's all
Exactly.
there was.
Browsing was
the-
an art,
yeah.
and also
Yeah.
publishers did their jobs back then.
Yes. Yes.
Publishers
Yes.
did not expect you to have a public presence. I mean, you went to conventions to get the word out a little bit, but they had a whole sales force. So you sat home and all you did was write. You wrote the book, you turned it in, you got your edit, worked over it, you got your galleys, you did your page proofs, and then you started the next book. There was nothing that you did that was outside of that circle. And gradually, publishers have been understaffed to the point where they have chipped away at this. And now the writer has to wear all the hats.
Ooh. Even those traditionally published, like yourself, like you have to wear
all
those
the
hats.
Sometimes you get a contract that even states you have to have a social media presence. Sometimes you don't sell a book because they look at how many followers you got.
Right.
I could care less. I'd rather, a few thousand genuine people than 40,000 people I don't even care about, who are just there to stick their name on whatever. But,
Or
it's
bots.
a whole different world. And I don't know as I'm still suited to play that game.
Wow. That kind of, it's always been an interest of mine to learn more about like advertising and marketing before the internet. But no more powerful than it is at this moment. I guess I hadn't thought about it truthfully, but I think that take is very eye-opening to us, especially like myself, who's always had the internet to, look up video games or look up books or look up movies, and that's just what you did. If you have a question, oh, Google it, right? Are we spoiled, Jenny?
Oh, yeah. I used to Federal Express books in from university libraries to do my research because Google didn't exist. And I tapped my PhD friends to Xerox sections of papers so that I could get information. And interlibrary loan, that was huge. You signed up for a book and you'd wait 6 weeks for it to get there. But life it went at a different pace. I miss it because it's too fast now. I used to be able to get up and write for hours and then get on a horse and ride, come in and do something for a hobby for the evening. I could cram so much more into a day.
Yeah.
When you submitted your work to be, published, what was that experience? Was it a typewriter? Was it, I can't think of anything else. Is it kind of like you have your whole transcript that you send in, or just a piece of it?
It was terrifying because you typed your manuscript and you had 2 carbon copies and you couldn't submit the carbons. The publishers only wanted the original. You only sent to one publisher at a time, and you bit your nails when that damn sucker went in the mail, because what if it got lost? And then, along came the Xerox machine, and then you could at least make a copy. But you mail it to Britain and it costs you a fortune because you're sending 80 pounds of paper overseas and you're waiting 2 weeks for it to get there. And then came the fax, and then it was like, wow, I can hear from my London agent in an hour.
Yes. Wow.
So yeah, life has just gone on the accelerator pedal. It's nothing like what it was before. You got your fan mail in the mail.
Wow.
And your publisher would send it to you.
How did you make connections back then, as far as finding agents and everything like that? Like now,
you
get on social media.
You mailed out to the agent and applied, or you talked to other authors. You went to library events where the authors would show up.
Yeah, you could subscribe to the Writers. Was it Writers Digest or Writers
Marketplace?
That's the one. The Writers Market.
And that was a reference book at the library, and it listed all the publishers, who the editors were, what they were buying.
Yep.
And it was in the reference section, so you couldn't take it out. You had to sit at the table and copy things in pencil.
If I were to look for a little bit, I could find the last copy of that I have.
Yeah, it was a book about yay thick. It was huge.
One. It's in the shelf here somewhere.
I have the 98 version.
Yeah.
But it was great because when you browsed the book, you knew nothing about it. You didn't see anybody else's stars. You didn't see anybody else's opinion, no reviews. Mm-hmm. You opened the book, you literally looked at the page and the prose, and you said, this rings a bell or it doesn't. So it was very, very direct. It was not influenced. There was a
Wow.
purity to that, but it was also limited by what you could get your hands on. If you had a town that had a good library or a good bookstore, or you were in the boonies and you had nothing, then you subscribed to the science fiction book club.
Yep.
But even then, they scraped only some titles. They didn't take them all. So it was a different time period, very different.
It's interesting. I find it so interesting because it's very different than the experience I've ever had in my life. So, and it's like not that long ago. It's not like, you know, what may seem, you know, as far as technology evolving, oh, that must have taken a lot of time. Things have just exponentially improved. And well, I guess that's subjective, but the way things have, you know, evolved have changed so quickly. One thing that I wanted to do on this live is kind of show what I've done on my wall. But before I get there, we're going to go around if we could. I'll start with Corey, and then we'll go Joe, John, and that way. Let's see. That's clockwise.
Clockwise. Yeah.
Specifically, if you can remember this year, if you can't remember this year, something special kind of popping out to you. What tropes have been influential to you this last year and a half? And if, like I said, if you can't think of any in particular, just in the last year, all time, what kind of tropes speak to your heart, regardless of the number of times you've read a book with those tropes in it? Corey.
I think overall, I think the reluctant hero is still probably one of my favorite tropes. I like the idea of somebody, whether they're already trained or they are nobody, and they get kind of forced into it. And, you know, that kind of goes into a little bit of my military background, because you get a lot of people that join for a lot of different reasons. Some of them go for college or whatever, but in the end, you don't really know what you're going to get roped up into. So, like when I went on my deployment, we were a mixed match of a bunch of different jobs got thrown together, and we were called HHC unit, and then we got sent to Afghanistan. So a lot of the people that were with us, they, you know, we had some like water purification managers and things like that that were ideally never meant to see combat. But that's what you get. You get a bunch of group of people together that was never meant to see combat or to see, you know, the chaos and everything like that. And now they're forced through it. And even when I was a kid, the reluctant hero, that was always one of my favorite tropes. And then this year, I got into a lot more grim dark and read a lot more dark shit this year. So
yeah,
that seems to go hand in hand with, huh?
But reluctant hero, that's your jam.
Yes, that's my favorite of all time.
I love that, dude. I love it. I'm a fan myself. It's not my favorite, but I'll tell my favorite at the end. Joe.
Oh, I like a lot of tropes. The one I'm having fun with lately is the unassuming character who's super smart and makes little moves that no one pays attention to, and they kind of like blow them off as not being so interesting. And at the end, they've manipulated everyone into solving all their problems or handing them the crown or achieving whatever their goal is. This, if any of you read Malazan, the example, I think his name is Tihol Bedek. There's this one character who's just lounges in a diaper on a roof the entire book and ends up being in control of everything that happens.
Oh wow!
But no one thinks he is. Oh, it's yeah. I mean, I'm no Erickson. I did a little bit of it in my latest book, but it's a bit. I'm a big fan. I want to pick one that everyone else is going to say.
Yeah, it's something to be inspired by, man. I love that, and that's not the typical answer that I've heard, and I love that.
That's what I'm here for.
Yes, sir. John Palladino.
I don't. This is such a hard question because there's so many I despise and so many that I really like.
It's easier to come up with one you despise. Throw that bad boy out there.
Well, I really despise a lot, but particularly like dreams and visions and resurrections. But something that I really enjoy would be like, there's two, and if they go together, even better, I suppose. But the really like almost helpless character who is very weak in a lot of ways, but still thrust into a very important role, and is constantly trying to succeed but fail. I don't know if that has a name, but I really like that. And then, of course, I've always been a big fan of a school or learning or, going through an academy type story. I don't know why. I've just always really enjoyed that. Name of the Wind did it really well, I thought. And there's a lot of other books that do it as well. But actually, I think Brent Weeks did that as well in one of the books that he wrote. I don't know. I really like that, like going to classes and learning, and usually there's like a bully element in it as well, which is almost always ridiculously infuriating to read because it goes on far too long, but it just grates under my skin so much. I don't know why that particularly gets me that bad, but I love feeling like mad at someone. So if a book can make me mad or angry or want to see someone have a like big downfall, they succeeded. That's like an emotion I really enjoy feeling, is hating somebody in a book. I don't know why, but if I really dislike a villain, then that's my favorite thing ever. And in a school type setting, it usually is done very well.
So I want to recommend a book to you, John, and it's really the reason I'm here right now. I talk about it all the time, but Ordinary Monsters, dude, is, I think, something you would love. It's the book that got me into reading, and it's got a dark academia, Victorian London Gothic feel, dude. It's in every single character is a kid, very easy to empathize with, and lots of the kids are even like it's a group of kind of, I guess, misfits that were kidnapped basically to this kind of academy, where the academy feeling isn't like a Harry Potter or anything juvenile like that, but it's just, I don't know, it just did it for me so much to where I'm here now. And I think you really like it, John.
Yeah, I just looked it up. Never heard of it before, so I'll check it out.
Yeah, dude.
Surprised I haven't heard of it. It seems like it was a big release just a couple of years ago. So
yeah, Bringer of Dust was the second book. It just came out, so it's going to be finished soon, and I highly recommend it. I really, really do. Well, since you guys switched, yeah, please. And if you do end up reading it, man, I'd love to talk to you about it, because, like I said, that's the reason I'm here right now. Corey,
another trope.
What is it?
Corey's got to give us another trope. I mean, he's right. We're going clockwise.
Well, I'm going to give him a break, and since they switched spots, I wouldn't do that to you, Corey. Come on now, I got your back, dog. Corey, what is something, even if it's not something this year, if you could think of something this year that maybe caught you off guard, but if not, all-time, favorite trope or something along those lines?
I'm trying to think if I can think of one from this year. I'll skip Motley Crue because that's what everyone's expecting me to say. I think one
$10.
I know, right? Bingo card. So I really love a lone wolf and cub trope, especially when it is like a jaded older character with like a really innocent young character who's like making them see the world with fresh eyes, if that makes sense. I really love that kind of the grumpy sunshine, a little bit of that too. I love that. I'm a big fan of tragic heroism, like massive fan of tragic heroism. If somebody like in a book, throws themselves in front of a friend or somebody they care about, self-sacrificial kind of stuff, big on that. Those are always big ones for me.
I love that. I need to read more of those, because as I hear your guys' answer, I yet again find that I am such a noob, right? Because from my guess, just based on most of you in which I've talked one-on-one and so many others, it's like I hear this like story where you started, at 5 and you started creating this imagination of yours very late in life. Well, I wouldn't say very late, but like 29 is when I started reading And I just realized, based on the answers I always get to this question, and that's why I love this question, I just have so many wonderful things that are new to me still to look forward to. And that's exciting. Nick, what's been tickling your metaphorical fancy, my friend?
Oh, I'm sure everyone knows what I'm going to say. I got two tropes that just never get old to me. The first one I would describe as fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
This is, Taken, The Equalizer, John Wick, the horrible bad guys do the wrong thing to the wrong guy and find out why he's nicknamed after a hammer.
Yeah, dude,
so
he's
that's
resilient.
my all-time favorite. The giant brooding badass has seen and heard enough, stands up and grabs his hammer. And then my other one that I just, it's all my favorite books and movies use it, is the gladiatorial duel to the death, the one-on-one pit fight where only, two men enter, only one leaves. So, Beyond Thunderdome, Gladiator, Conan backstory, all that. That's
Nick, you
basically
need to pick up John's book, Nick. John's books. You're hitting on a few things just in that last couple sentences that he does well, man.
Let's go.
Yeah,
I'm on
dude.
it.
Hell yeah. I love those too, man. I think it's never overdone. Well, we'll get to my answer next when we're done here. So, Janny, I'm very excited for this. What is something, maybe even in the last year, but if not in the last year, what's something that really just never gets old to you as far as a trope?
The character that shatters expectations. The one that comes on stage and you think you know everything about them, and they're going to upend your assumption and bust it to pieces because you discover the unwinding of the past, what makes them a person, and the one that steps forward when everyone else steps back. Because often that person is not the one that you expect. If you've ever been in a group situation where there's been a threat, the person that steps into the middle of it is not the one that blusters and makes the noise up ahead of time. It's usually the one the quiet one that was in the corner is suddenly the one that's the linchpin and that holds it all together. So I just love that trope where the characters that you think you know surprise you.
Janny, have you read Dragon Mage by M.L. Spencer?
I have.
Oh, do you love it?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
It's pretty hard to give me a book that I don't love unless it's so unremittingly cynical that it's just nihilistic, or it's horror, in which case I'm going to run screaming because I'm going to get nightmares. So I just don't go into horror. I don't mind a horror scene. I don't mind a horror aspect in a fully balanced story, but I don't choose to be scared. I don't like books that center that.
You and my wife are very similar on that. Like when I talk about the horror books I love, she's just like, hold on, let's keep that to yourself.
Yeah, it's spooky season and you're all reading the horror books and I'm gone.
Yeah. See,
not watching your videos, sorry.
I love a good horror book. I love a good, even like a possession, which as a Christian, like even a possession book teaches me about the things I do believe based on how bad those things in that book is. I don't know how that's true, but it's true for me. The darkest books kind of speak to me in a way that helps the enlightenment of my own beliefs. It sounds crazy, I think, but it does. It does help.
Yeah, well, the dark things always happen to the women, so.
Yeah,
or no, out of here. Bye.
Molly.
So I'd say that. So I dabble in sci-fi fantasy, but I'm typically in the horror dark romance realm. Mm-hmm. So dark romance, I love a good toucher and die trope. But as far as like things that kind of blew me away this year, I would say the unexpected ending, even if that means an unhappy one. I love a good unhappy ending, and I don't know if that just is really strange, but if you just wrench my heart out at the end, I'm all for it. Like that's why I read, why I make me feel something, rip my heart out. I love it. I read a couple good ones like that this year. So
I would love to. Do you have those recs? Like, could you name a couple?
I would say Incidents Around the House by Josh Mallerman. That was really good and went really unexpected. It was super spooky. I'm reading a really good one now. I don't know how it's going to end, but I'm reading September House. That one is really good too. And it's kind of already taken me on a wild ride, and I'm all here for it. So
Curran says Molly gets me. By the way, guys, Curran, Beth, I know, and also Triple B, the Bearded Book Beast. I know that you guys probably tried to get in here. It just happened that way. So I do apologize, but I'm so glad you're in the chat, and I am very thankful that you're here. And I'm so glad, Senna. By the way, hold on. I got your card. That's the first Halloween card I've ever gotten in my life, I think. So thank you so much, Senna. You're the best. And it's born to rock. I get it. Like, I'm there. But yeah, Ordinary Monsters. I was waiting for you particularly to listen to that audiobook because the dude, the audio, his name's Ben something or another. He has a really hard last name. He is excellent. Like, I would say he's number 3 or 4 on my list. Of course, Pacey, Circus, those guys are number 1 and 2, but he's close. He's a 3 or 4 for me. It was excellent. And I know you're an audiobook girl, so all right. EL, Ed, what's going on, man? Tell us.
All right. So I'm gonna give you 2. One is the one that I love, and one is one that I hate. So I love Suffering. If you can take a guy and kick him and kick him and kick him again, and just when you give him a little bit of hope, kick him in the head. I love the people that just have to keep getting up. And yes, you'll recognize this trope in everything I write. I like people who are willing to suffer for something they care about, especially a parent. I'm the parent-child relationship where the parent will give everything away to take care of the child is huge for me. And the one thing that I absolutely hate, I read it in a book recently, and it just irritated me because it took away from the story, is when you put me through all that and then you kill someone and then they're not dead. I don't like that Gandalf came back. I don't like it when the family pet gets killed and it turns out they were just ran away. I hate it when dad disappears and then he turns up on the doorstep. If I had to get through suffering, it takes away from the loss if you didn't really lose them, because then I don't trust you. From then on, if you kill someone that I like and then you give them back to me, I'm not going to believe the next guy you kill is somebody that matters.
You're not a comic book reader, are you?
No, I'm not. Well, actually, it's the thing that kind of burned me off of comic books is the multiverse and the coming back and you can have your kids back or just go to another. I hate that. So I do solemnly swear to all of you, I will tell you if somebody's going to come back. You will have the clues, and when they come back, you'll go, "Oh, I totally knew that was going to happen." But if I murder your favorite character, I guarantee I'm killing them. they're done.
I think that's just like having realistic expectations. Like in real life, you're well aware when something bad happens to somebody, especially if they're loved. And to give that like preconceived, hey, they may come back. I can kind of understand that. I feel like that's maybe why I'm not a comic book reader. I'm not.
Yeah.
I've tried.
It's a horrible expression, but I use it a lot, which is you can't unpull the trigger. So, and I'm a believer in that. Okay. And actually you had some guys that were trying to get in that weren't me. As I told you when we started this, I have a house full of people. I'm technically hosting right now. So I'm going to duck out, and that would leave one slot for one of those guys that tried to get in who couldn't, to take my spot.
Well, I'm very, very thankful that you were here to fill that slot for a little bit, man. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Thank you for having me, and we'll have you running in the background so the people at the party will all see you. But I'm going to have to duck off the screen for the moment because I got to go play.
Do your thing, brother. Go host that party, man.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, Ed.
I did want to throw up a comment real quick from my guy, John. Dude, you continue to inspire so many too, because I think a lot of what you do, man, is like you know, I have kids, you have a kid, and you bring your family into something that is passionate for you and has become something passionate for them. So I did want to say that if you're still sticking around, I highly love that about your channel, brother. Hold on, somebody popped in. There he is, Curran. What's going on, Curran? He's came
Just
from
got
the
off
chat
the interview.
to the video. How you doing, brother? Can you hear me? Barely.
Barely.
Yep. I'll tell
Yeah,
you
I
what,
can hear
you work on that. We're going to go to the next person because we're almost back to me, and then I'll check back in with you. I'm glad to see your face, though, man. I wish I had your hair, but, you know, we can all wish. Timothy, dude, what's going on with your latest trope love? Or if you can't really think of something that's, you know, as of late, something all time that you love.
All right, I'm gonna name two things, but I'll be quick. My all-time favorite, and this goes all the way back to like the old Final Fantasy games and all that. I love when there's a bad guy and a big bad guy, and at the very end, the good guys team with the bad guy to take out the big bad. And to kind of give an example, when you think of like Chrono Trigger, you spend the first half of the game fighting Magus. And then after you fight Magus, everyone's like, why are we fighting each other when there's Lavos? So then they all put aside the differences and fight the real big bad.
Can you hear me
And I
now?
love that. I mean, it's like the
I
greatest
can.
thing.
Okay, cool. I think it's because I was on Bluetooth speaker.
Hey, we're live. Anything's possible. So I'm glad that we can hear you, though. Tim, I do love that, too. It would be hard-pressed for me to say that I could think of an example, though, like right off the top of the dome.
It's the entire structure of
Transformers.
Transformers?
Yeah, Transformers and Optimus Prime, and
Well,
they team up to fight Sentinel.
Yeah, you know, it's like
But every season of DBZ, all the other Z fighters are like the big bads from all the first 10 seasons, right?
You know,
Piccolo is the big bad of the early season, and then Piccolo becomes a training his kid. Vegeta becomes a hero in like Dragon Ball Super.
probably the best example.
If you want to restrict yourself to great literature, you got to say Dragon Ball Z. That's all I'm saying.
That is a trope I expected from Game of Thrones, and it didn't deliver.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, every time I hear those type of opinions, it gets harder for me. So I watch Thor not knowing shit. I'll watch Spider-Man, all the new ones, not knowing anything. And I'll watch Punisher going back, and I'm just like, I'm not privy on the story. And I almost want to keep it that way because I don't want to get too opinionated to the point where I'm like, I just can't mess with it no more. For those reasons, right? Those of you that keep up with it, is it ever get too much? Do you wish that you weren't so close with it, or is it just become an obsession you kind of love?
I've tapped out. It's been too long. It's been like 20 years of movies at this point. I just can't do it anymore. You know,
I got that way with Star Wars. Like the first trilogy, I love. I can't talk to you about anything after that. Like 100%. Jabba
My
the
biggest
Hutt's my
problem
guy.
with Marvel is creative directions on decades worth of storylines that they have that they could just use, and then they want to do something new with to fit everything else. And a lot of times, especially lately, it just falls flat. That's been my biggest problem.
I don't think you're alone on that, man. I really don't. And I would be lying if I said I could comment on it, because like my obsession as of about a year and a half ago since I started this has been books. Now, like, I love a Deadpool. I have yet to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, but I would say that's my favorite superhero right now is Deadpool. Not knowing anything before the movie. Ryan Reynolds has taught me everything. But real quick, I want to say I am so thankful that every single one of you kind of tuned in for this crazy little live stream we did, because it just really showcases the reason that I come back and come back and come back again. I do want to show something. So when I'm going to cut my camera off real quick and then I'll turn it back on. Beforehand, I just want to say something that is new to me is Janie Wirth's prose. And I did a buddy read and it got interrupted by some illnesses. I'm halfway through. I'm only halfway through the first Curse of Mistwraith, and I'm just so far into that world and privy with these characters. that I'm so excited to move forward. Janny, I'm so thankful you're here, and I'm thankful that I've started my journey with your writing. So 1 second. You sent me something real cool, and I want to show everybody. I'll be right back.
Anticipation mounts.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only at the halfway point. That's where it starts to explode.
I don't like being in the middle. It's weird.
In this break, may I suggest partial function? Dinosaurs. So what else do I have to sell?
Wow, I feel like we just went through the multiverse with how we all just shifted everywhere.
Look at that beauty.
Oh, cool.
It is just absolute. I don't know if I'm like showcasing it the way that I look at it, but what I did, I was just so thankful for this reference that I get to use while reading your books, and I have so many to get to, which is the most exciting part. So I just wanted to let you know, Janny, I'm very thankful.
Oh, you're
That's
welcome.
beautiful.
Yeah, what a frame job. That's really interesting the way you're displaying it.
Well, I was going to do all 4 sides, and then I put the 2 top up. I cut everything out, and I love it. It puts an authentic look to it. It kind of looks like a scroll. Am I wrong or right?
Yeah, it's
I like it.
different.
Looks
It's
cool.
really neat.
We're good.
It reminds me of something that would be pinned in like a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, and you guys can't really tell through the video quality because I'm a little far away. But it is just of the highest quality.
You got a
All right,
man.
1 second here. Let me put this back here. Here we go. I don't claim to be a professional.
Yeah,
right?
we're getting giddy. Have another beer.
Yeah, right. 1 second here. All right, I think we're back on. Maybe you can see. You know, this live thing, you have to learn, and you never do truly master it. But here we go.
Hey, Matt, I'm
There
going
it
to
is.
duck out and be a mom for a bit. And I just wanted to say congratulations on a year on BookTube. We are all very happy to have you here. And thanks for letting me join in.
Oh, thank you so much, Tori, for popping in, and you continue to inspire us. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Good
Tori,
to see you
great seeing
guys.
you.
Yeah, good to see everybody.
While we're at it,
Yeah, I'm actually gonna get ready to pop out.
No, you guys are actually with. I'm actually going to dip out myself, so I was just going to close it
There
up.
we go.
That was kind of like the
Okay,
ending was the Jeannie Wirt's amazing map. So I did promise a shelf tour. I'm going to get to that our next live because I think the kids and Mama needs a kiss. I'm going to go put the kids to bed. But what I do want to say, thank you everybody for making little old my channel, little old me feel special tonight. So I just want to let everybody here know how thankful I am that you took a little bit of your night to spend with me on my channel. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you.
Yeah,
You're
thanks for having
welcome.
us.
Congratulations, Matt,
Appreciate you, brother.
Congratulations.
on your
Here's-
year plus.
Here's to many, many more, and I hope
Here's
you
to 10,000 subs.
That's right.
Thank you so much,
There you
man.
go.
Let's go.
Well, hey, you
10,000
all
subs.
have a wonderful, wonderful night. Anybody that was here live, you guys are awesome. You guys were chatting away. I do apologize if you tried to get in and you couldn't. Look, there's going to be so many in the future. You guys will get in there. In fact, I think most of you that were trying to get in have been on before. So thank you so much. We will talk soon. Anybody that watches this on replay, thank you as well. Like, share, subscribe. Check out any and all people I had on tonight. Their work, it's excellent. And y'all have a wonderful night.
I'll see you, man.
Thanks for having us.
Take care. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks for having us.
Hug your kids.
I will. Thank you.